So yeah, my name is Saad actually, and I am from Morocco, from Kenitra city specifically. So I am a final year medical student, and I work a lot on health advocacy. I was working in the International Federation of Medical Students Associations, and representing medical students on different global health issues like mental health, COVID-19, and I attended several conferences. I like to facilitate workshop and work on trainings and so on. So partnerships is something I worked on in the last couple of years, and yeah, maybe it will be an engaging discussion together so that we can learn from each other and share some insights about partnerships. So yeah, maybe moving on, do you maybe want to introduce yourselves, like maybe what you do, how is it going from your side? Nazik or Nanako, anyone want to start?
My name is Nazik Alawi. I'm the country director of IYF in Morocco.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Hi everyone. I'm Nanako Tojo from Japan. And I'm working for our university as an administrative staff. And in my private time, I am volunteering for Young Women Christian Association to empower youth. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Nanako. Great to have you with us. We also have Dana. Dana, can you hear us? You want to introduce yourself as well?
Sure. Sorry I'm late. I'm Dana Del Vecchio. I work for World Education as a program officer, and I'm based in Boston and support some projects in Egypt and Jordan.
Wow, sounds exciting. Nice to meet you, Dana. Anyone want to introduce yourself? Maybe Jesse? Or Sarah?
I was gonna say, don't forget me. I'm here as just a participant in your workshop, Saad. So, hi everyone. My name is Jessie Ellisberg. I am with the International Youth Foundation, based in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm one of the organizers of the summit. But I am just here as a participant to learn from Saad.
Perfect. That would be my honor and pleasure. And I guess, yeah, we're never too old to learn, right? That's what we keep saying. And yeah.
Hey, now, what are you saying about how old I am?
No, at all. You're not never too young to impact and too old to learn. But yeah, that's always, it's great to keep learning and engaging with each other. So yeah, great to have you, Jesse. And of course, we have Sarah. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself or.
Yeah, sure thing. So my name is Sarah Johnson. I also work for the International Youth Foundation. Today, my role is Saad's session producer. So I'm mostly supporting behind the scenes, but have had a chance to work with him over the past couple of weeks, and we delivered this session yesterday. And I'm excited about the smaller number that we have because I think it will be a really rich conversation and allow us to hear a lot more from those of you on the call about various partnerships. So I'm excited to participate for a second time and happy to be here in that role.
Perfect. Yeah, we have a very active and dynamic group, which will, be exciting for the sake of engaging and networking. So yeah, maybe to introduce after we knew each other a little bit, it would be good to hear from you, I guess, maybe mainly the last question I would focus on, which is, a partnership that you had in your previous experience. And I would really love to maybe if you can take a few seconds to reflect on that partnership. So, and share with us, was it maybe a good, successful partnership, or maybe was it not that successful? And maybe what was the reason? So for example, if you had a partnership with the ministry, how was that? And maybe what was the challenge? So yeah, anyone who wants to start or share with us, you can as well, of course, share in the chat if you feel comfortable writing or not speaking, you have the chat that you can use. So yeah, or else you can just unmute your microphone and share with us directly. So it's about one partnership that you had. It can be a collaboration in a project. It can be maybe something you work together with a person or with an organization or with an institution. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you about your experiences.
Recently, or I guess over the past year, we've been working with a foundation in Jordan to put on, or Queen Rania Foundation to put on an early childhood study. And the study is about parental behaviors and practices around readiness to learning with their children. And it's been going very well, and there's good collaboration, good communication, sometimes unrealistic expectations, but overall it's been a very strong partnership.
Okay, so what do you think made it going well, as maybe some factors that contributed to that?
I think honesty and transparency.
Okay, good to know.
And collaboration. So being able to share ideas, exchange ideas, and do it in a friendly and cooperative manner.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Dana. That seems really interesting. For the others, any reflections to share? I'm also checking in the chat, and also we have Agosto who joined us. So we are just asking this question, Agosto, about what experiences that you had with partnerships. So what partner did you collaborate with, and how was that experience? Maybe what was the challenges or the good things about it? So we have a comment, I guess, here from Jesse, who is saying that they had a partnership with a UN agency to found a local leadership program, and it was very stressful. You want to maybe share with us some of the stressful aspects of it, or some of the challenges that you had?
Sure. I think it was a really good learning experience, because the original conversation about collaboration took place between our organization and the main office, like the headquarters staff of the UN agency, but it was ultimately a country-based program. And so one of the aspects that did not go well is that the conversation and the excitement and the kind of motivation to do this work was coming from somewhere in Europe, but the actual program was in Senegal. And when the people in the headquarters office just handed it over to the country office staff, there was no buy-in or collaboration. And so for them, it was just, what is this thing I've just been told I have to do, and why should I care about it? So when it came to the people we actually needed to work directly with to make the partnership happen, they hadn't been part of the initial conversations. And so, yeah, they didn't have ownership or buy-in into the project, and they were super skeptical. So it made it really, really difficult to navigate that partnership and try to have a positive relationship. And it also, we ran into just a lot of communication challenges, because there were a lot of connections with government agencies. And so sometimes we would find out after the fact that, for example, a public announcement and ceremony had been held to announce the start of the program, but actually we were not involved in that, and we didn't know it was happening. And so so there was just a lot of miscommunication, and not having everybody at the table together was, I think, the biggest challenge.
I see. So yeah, I guess coordination and also the level of engagement of the persons you're working with is also always a factor that can decide a success or failure. Maybe take a final input before moving on.
Yeah, I can add to what Jesse was saying. We had a partnership with a local foundation as part of the CSR of a big group here in Morocco. And the same thing, I think when the partner doesn't know exactly the issues in the field, and you as a partner is the one who is dealing with this, so there's a lot of miscommunication, and a lot of waste of time to try to make them understand the real issues in the field. as implementers. So the funder or the partner has the big idea, but doesn't know exactly the details and doesn't care about the details. And so it's all on your side to deal with all the problems, challenges in the field. And also the partner didn't know or it was afraid of what is happening in the field because they don't know. And so yeah, that was
Okay,
our
definitely, yeah.
experience. It was stressful also and very challenging, but we did it at the end. We it was a success, but the fear of the partner was always like uh, making us lose a lot of time in implementing the project.
Yeah, definitely. I guess this issue goes along with, the level of proficiency and professionalism of the partner themselves that you're working on. And again, communication when you're not on the same page. So you are focusing on the field and then the partner is, not that involved. It creates that issues. So I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, all those issues maybe are some of the challenges that we all face, when it comes to partnering with other organizations, how to communicate, how to create and make those partnerships strong and sustainable. So basically, I will stop sharing my screen and now we can introduce our session. And here you can see our agenda for today. So basically, we will be talking about partnerships definition. We will be defining what partnership is and when I'll be taking you on the partnership journey. So we will start by identifying and how you can identify and analyze a partner, how you can approach your partner, and finally, some tips about how you can make your partnerships sustainable. So basically, to start with a quick or small definition, usually a partnership is an agreement, right? It's an agreement between two parties or even more. Like you can have partnerships with 3 universities or 3 UN agencies working together for a project and so on. And what's really important to remember is it's an agreement for a specific cause. So you're agreeing together to make a project, or you're agreeing together to, for a long-term campaign, or so that you can work together as maybe business or anything. So it can be different. And something maybe to remember finally when it comes to partnerships is that it can be different types and have different goals, right? We can talk about local level partnership, we can talk on a global partnership, we can talk about partnership that you just ask for money, or maybe you collaborate totally, like you work together in the field, or maybe the partner doesn't work on the field and you do. So different types and different goals for partnerships. So this is basically, just a definition that you can remember when it comes to a partnership. It's basically the agreements between different parties and for a specific cause. So moving on, now we will be talking about the journey. So to start the journey, we said the first step will be to identify your partners, right? So let's say, for example, your organization wants to work on climate change. So you want to do an event on climate change or a campaign. How can you identify your partner, or how can you list your partner? So easy, the word says it itself. It's about listing your partners and making your list of potential partners that you can reach out to. So you go and you search everywhere about what organizations are working on climate change, what organizations are working on things that I am interested in as a young people. For example, I know that the Ministry of Youth are helping young people, so I can reach out to the Ministry of Youth. I know that university or the embassy of, let's say, some country helps young people, so I can reach out to them. So those 2 factors, listing out the partners that work on their cause, let's say climate change or gender equity, or let's say SDGs, you have in a project on that you want a partner. And second thing is looking at partners that work with youth. So this is the way to make your list of partners, of potential partners that you can reach out to. Then the next step is mapping your partners so that you can choose the partner that you will reach out to, right? So to map, what we will do is that we have this map that you can see here. So we try to make it in this grid. And if you Google that, and I'll be sharing with you the handout later on, where you can see in detail the stakeholder grid. So basically, this is a tool that you can use to distribute your partners and be like, those partners are influential, those partners are interested, and the idea here is to maybe help you figure out which partners are most interested in what you are doing and are most influential in their field. Like, let's say the ministry, of course, is more influential than the university and is more influential than a local NGO. So you choose, again, you can see here the red circle, the ones which have most influence and most interest in what you are doing, and those are the partners that you will start working with. So we talked about how you can identify and list your partners, how also you can, identify and choose, prioritize your partners. So far, I would love to see a thumbs up to make sure everyone is following up. And of course, if you have any question, you can jump in and ask. I'm seeing some thumbs up. Seems we're going well. So moving on, right? Next step would be how to analyze your partner. So we've done our list. We have figured out which partner we want to start with. Now it's time to analyze that partner in detail. And this is a very important step to make your partnership in a good way. So here you can see this little table, and you will have it, of course, in the handout. Basically, the stakeholder is the name of the partner, and then you look at the strategic importance, or basically, simply speaking, what do I need from this partner? How can this partner help me as a person? So you start thinking of different ways that the partner can help me or can help your organization, right? And once you identify that, then you move to the next one, which is current commitment. And what I mean by current commitment is that you try to see the history of those partner and of this partner, sorry, and identify what did that partner do. Let's say, for example, we're speaking about the Ministry of Environment, and we want to do an event about climate change. So you see that 2 years ago or 1 month ago, they did a similar event, including youth and so on. So when you reach out to them, you'll be like, oh, you did this event and this one is similar to what you did. So you try to make, your networking and your similarity creation here. So current commitment, what did the partner do previously? Needs is analyzing what does the partner need from you as a youth organization. And here, it might be tricky to figure out, but you can think what your organization can offer to the person. And later on, we will be speaking about that when I give you the practice. So that's the third part you analyze. What does the partner need from me? And finally, the conflicts of interest. And here, it's not really popular, but that's just something to keep in mind. For example, you want to maybe avoid a partner that doesn't go with your constitutions or your beliefs or your principles as an organization, right? Let's say, for example, as a medical organization, I wouldn't collaborate with partners who sell tobacco or who maybe sell drugs or arm dealers or such organizations. So that's something maybe to be careful from, to keep in mind. It's not really frequent, but keep it in mind. But maybe to sum this up, list or name your partner, identify the strategic importance, which is what can I ask the partner to give me, and mainly identify the needs. How can I help the partner? What does the partner need from me? So maybe to clarify this, here is this scenario that I would read for you, and I would like you maybe to think for a second and then share with us some reflections. So here is the scenario. Your youth organization wanting to partner with the ministry or the university to organize a National Youth Day celebration about climate change or mental health. It depends if you feel comfortable with climate change or mental health So whatever topic you feel most relevant to you. So what I would like to ask you is to identify 2 things that you can ask from the partner. What can you ask them to give you for your event, right? And also 1 thing that you can give to the partner, or 1 thing that the partner needs from you as youth organization. So would love to hear some voices, and also you can write in the chat. It's still here, my screen, so you can see the scenario. And yeah, let's see your inputs, or let's hear your inputs. So maybe we can start with the first one. You have your celebration, you have the ministry of the university. What can you ask them to give you for your events? Any idea? So we have Jesse sharing with us, asking for a physical location to host the events. Definitely. If you have a ministry or a partner, you can always ask them for maybe a place to do your event, to do your training, to do your meeting, and so on, because such institutions can have a lot of places. That's something you can ask for. We have Cici sharing with us that you can ask for speakers. That's also something really common to ask from partners, right? So usually speakers, trainers, facilitators, experts can be something you can ask for, definitely. Any other reflections? Funding, yeah, funding is also something you can always ask from partners, especially institutions which have, a budget that they can offer you. We also have Dana sharing, universities can offer volunteers to help with the events. That's also possible. Maybe if you are organizing something either in university or on the community scale, you can ask for partners or volunteers. Also, Jesse, about outreach channels. So that's also something really important to ask for. Like partners have their social media, they have their website, so they can promote your event, they can promote your cause, and that's really good. So yeah, thank you very much for the reflections. And now moving on to the second question, which is what can you give to the partner, or what can the partner need from you? So you are a youth organization, and here we're talking, for example, about the ministry or the university. So what can this institution, for example, need from you, or what can you offer them? Any reflections? I guess this one is a tricky one, and yeah, it usually is. As young people, we don't, see or overestimate our value, but let's see if anyone wants to share something. We have Jesse. So opportunities for students and staff engagements, especially if they have volunteer hour requirements. I love that. I love that. So it's important to analyze the partner and find out, okay, they have maybe some volunteer hour requirements, so we can offer that as an opportunity. So that's, something you can give. And Nanako also shared about the chance to hear the voices of youth. Yeah, thank you very much, Nanako, for mentioning that. And that's definitely true. There are those global agendas which are fancy, when we talk about SDGs or we talk about climate change. And one of those fancy agendas is youth. And believe me, when it comes to the government people, UN people, different institutions, it's really important for you to keep saying that we represent the voice of youth, because whatever is happening, it's our future, right? So we are representing a third of the population, and we are deciding on our future. So always us including youth and engaging youth is something that you can offer in your partnership. So we have Gloria as well sharing membership sign up for students to an existing government programs. That's also something, yeah, that can be given in exchange. Sarah sharing visibility for the ministry, showing that, they are giving youth engagement. That's exactly the point. It will be looking good for them if they include youth. We have also Dana sharing that the youth organization can organize the event and align it with the ministry's education or agendas and priority. And this way, it can be also a good opportunity for collaboration. So the idea maybe from Dana's idea is, you make your action and it's relevant to what the partner is working on. So it helps you, and it also helps the partner achieve their goals. And this is why you should always choose partners that have the same focus as you do. And finally, we have CC talking about providing the expertise as youth experts. That's also true. We do have expertise to share as young people. We should not underestimate ourselves. So another thing to add is, the networking and the community outreach. That's really something we have to offer as young people. And yeah, because we can quickly network and reach out to the community and reach out to people. So that's something we can offer as young organizations. So basically, that's or these are some of the areas that you can offer as young people. You being youth. Second, you can offer access to the community. And the third would be innovation and creativity. So we have innovation, we have creativity, new ideas. So that's always something we can offer. So moving on. Now we talked about how we can analyze how we can list a partner, analyze the partner, and then choose the partner, analyze it. And this is basically the analysis. So maybe a quick thumbs up if you're feeling comfortable with analyzing your partner, identifying the need, identifying what you can offer. So far, so good? Okay, perfect. So with that, I guess we can move to the next slide, which is about the third or fourth step of our partnership journey. So as simple as, how can we create the first contact with our partners? And here, maybe I would like to ask you and hear your voices again. How did you first connect with one of your partners? So here, maybe a simple question. So if you had any previous contacts with one of the partners, how did you first connect? Did you go to them directly? Did you meet in social media, in some events? Did you get their phone or whatever? So would love to hear maybe 2 or 3 sharing rounds from you, if anyone feels comfortable, or else you can also write in the chat. You can feel free to just unmute and share with us.
I'll share from another example of partnership when my organization was actually looking for a local partner to collaborate with to implement a program in Uganda. And so we first put out an open call and put it out to our networks, and then for kind of who we were looking for. And then we started with somebody that we knew in the country and asked them, who else should we be meeting with? And then we were able to reach out by email first, and then actually go and visit face to face and have a meeting. And so we ended up partnering with MOOBS, which is a great university based in Kampala, and actually they have campuses all over Uganda, but that's kind of how we got to them, is looking at like, who do we already know there, and then asking them, who should we be talking to, and then going and having a face-to-face meeting.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Jessie. And I guess those are two, really important ways. Like, first, having your partners or your networks help you with reaching out to partners, right? Let's say you want to get out to the ministry, and then your professor or your university have contacts, so they can help you reach out to that partner. So that's a really important tool there. And what you said about email can always be used, and also direct contact, like going there to their office and then speaking with them and trying to get the conversation starting, is another way that you can use. So thanks for that, Jessie. Let's see if anyone wants to share something. We have Nanako sharing in the chat. Using SMS or email to start a conversation is always a good idea. Definitely, Nanako. And yeah, I guess, here you can see basically some of the areas or some of the tools that you can use. So first, like emails, for example, SMS calls, or for example, emails or events. So the idea is you meet a partner in an event, and then you try to reach out to them and introduce yourself and create the conversation. There is also networks. That's what Jessie said about your friends or collaborators giving you the contact. And there is, of course, direct contact, which is simply going to the partner's office and trying to create the conversation. So that's something you can remember if you want to create that conversation with the partner. And now we will be maybe giving you a scenario that I would love to see you reading or basically reflecting on. So the scenario goes as follows. Imagine yourself in a national celebration of women leaders, okay? And there is the secretary from the Ministry of Family, and you've been trying to reach out forever to her to communicate for a campaign, but she didn't answer. But in the cafeteria, grabbing a coffee, and then heading back to the conference room. So she is going back to the conference room, and you want, so she is going back to the conference room, and you have 1 minute to talk to her in the hallway. So you and the minister in the hallway, 1 minute. What would be the most important point that you will mention to the minister? So maybe you can use the chat for that one. And yeah, or if you want to speak, you can also speak. So let's see your comments. What would be the most important thing you would mention to the minister, maybe to start this partnership going? So you can share in the chat. We have Sarah sharing your name and who you work for. Okay, that's interesting. So you would introduce yourself basically. I mean, I can imagine 1 minute is not enough to say everything, but yeah, it's important to know what's really important to focus on. So let's see if what do you believe should be the most important thing to say in that case? Jesse would like to, or would try to highlight how they have a need and your organization can meet. So yeah, that's really interesting. Like they need something and now we can help you with this. So that's a good strategy. I like that. And also Dana talking about the objective of the event and why she or they should be interested. Yeah, that's also definitely something you should talk about. What's the cause, what's the objective, and why you should be working with us. So yeah, thank you for your reflections. Now, Sarah will be sharing with you a poll, basically that you can answer. Nazik also talking about the link to the event to your organization. So yeah, exactly, that's what really we referred to earlier. So here is the question. How familiar are you with the elevator pitch concept? They basically, the idea, or maybe for those who are not familiar, this situation where you have 1 minute basically or less to talk with a partner is called an elevator pitch. And just imagine yourself in an elevator with someone and having less time to talk with. So do vote if you are familiar or not with this elevator pitch concept. And for this scenario that we talked about, what are some of the most challenging aspects when it comes to delivering your speech? So you can vote and then we can take it from there. Okay, a few seconds maybe for those who didn't vote. Okay, everyone is voted, great. So thank you very much for voting. I don't know if you can see the results in the screen, but basically, I guess, yeah, maybe we have some people who heard of it, but they're not really familiar with practicing it. And I guess practicing it is really important. And hopefully with those tools today, you can maybe seek some spaces to try and practice the elevator pitch. And I guess the challenges are mainly, you know, short time to talk. And yeah, that's definitely a challenge. And again, attracting the person's attention. So yeah, how to do that is always a tricky part. So again, we'll close the poll and we thank you for, you know, answering. And now it's time to maybe share a quick reflections about the elevator pitch. So when it comes to the elevator pitch, I would really focus on 3 things, right? So 3 things that you should remember, and you already said that. So the first thing would be introducing yourself and introducing what you are about. So introducing who are you representing? Like usually I go, my name is Saad Uakkas from Morocco. I represent the International Federation of Medical Students Association, representing 1.3 million medical students. It seems fancy, right? So showing that you have kind of value or added value. And then while presenting yourself and your project or idea, really showcase what's really your unique selling points, or what's really special about you. For example, me, I say we are IFMC, we are partnering with WHO, so that's something special about me. We want to do this project to help 100,000 rural girl to access education. So 100,000 rural girls seems fancy, right? So that's the idea, giving something unique about your idea. The second thing would be introducing what you know, your project is, or what's really you want as an objective from this. So for example, we would go like, we want to connect with you today because we believe your ministry would benefit from helping us in our project, which aims for empowering little girls in rural areas to educate them, and your ministry can help us by doing this and this and this, and this is why you should help us as the ministry. So you say why they should help you, and you say how they can help you. So that's the 2 things to focus on. So you're asking them things. So you're asking them how they can help you, either have speakers, or either give money, or either, you know, deliver maybe a speech, or help you with materials and so on. And why they should do that is the important point. So unique selling points, presenting what's really important, what is for them to gain. Like that's what we talk, if you remember, on the need. So what do they need? Like we are a young organization, we maybe have this added value, so you need that. And you end up with an action point and a follow-up. So you end up saying that, okay, we would love maybe to connect more. If you don't have time, here is my visit card. Can I reach out to you later? Can we have a scheduled meeting, for example, next week or whenever you are available? So that's what I usually call closing the deal, right? Closing the deal is moving up for the next step, or planning for the next step. And it's really important. So here again, you can see the elevator pitch structure. First is introducing yourself. and creating that relation, introducing your projects or your idea or your purpose. And then second would be introducing or asking for the partner, what do you want? So how they can help you and why they should help you. And finally, closing the deal. So basically interacting with them and asking them for a follow-up or for next steps. So just 3 things to remember. And it's always important to get this structure in mind so that you can use it whenever you meet someone out of nowhere, and try to practice maybe with your friends, maybe with your family, maybe with other people, so that you can, create and ensure a good elevator pitch. So basically, we can see a thumbs up if anyone or if everyone, understood the elevator pitch. Good, perfect. So moving on, now that we talked about the elevator pitch, what we will do next is we will move to the final maybe slide or final part of our partnership journey. So here you can see sustaining partnerships in the sense of how can we make our partnerships sustainable, right? So we started the conversation with the partner, we are collaborating with them. How can we make it as a long-term, successful, no problems? So 4 things that I would like to share with you. The first thing would be having periodic meetings. That means that schedule meetings like let's meet every month, or let's meet once 2 weeks, or things like that, depending on how long or how much you work together. Make sure the communication is there. So for example, if you is replacing you, there is always a continuity about first thing, periodic meeting. Second thing, officializing your partners. And what we mean by officializing your partnerships is working on paperwork, right? So either signing a collaboration paper or memorandum of understanding, so that even, for example, me, I'm working in an NGO, so I work for 1 year. The one who comes after me will keep the partnership going because there is a signed document going on. So that's the idea here. The third thing is identifying your main way of communication, okay? So whatever you both feel comfortable talking about, basically, it can be WhatsApp, I don't know, Facebook, emails, LinkedIn, Slack, whatever communication channel you want to communicate in. And finally, it's important to identify challenges and difficulties and to communicate them. So if you have, for example, exams next week, make sure to let the partner know so they don't expect too much from you. If you have any, I don't know, internal challenges or difficulties delivering some final outcome, let the partner know so that communication stays well. So basically, those are, some tips from my side on how you can make your partnership sustainable. And yeah, hopefully we went through together the partnership journey. And finally, if you have any question, please. So I'll give the floor to you now. Maybe if you have any question or you want to know about something more, you can always ask and yeah, unmute your mic.
Thanks, Saad. I have a question. Where, I guess, from your perspective and experience, where do you think people go wrong with the elevator pitch or the initial ask? Like, what are some mistakes that we should avoid when we're trying to make that elevator pitch or do that first outreach to a potential partner?
Yeah, that's a very, important reflection there. When it comes to the elevator pitch, some of the challenges first is under preparation. So you meet a partner in an event or a potential partner because you didn't partner them with them yet, right? So you meet with them in an event, you're like, oh, this is the minister, I should talk to him, let's go or talk to her, and you're not prepared. So physically, you're maybe stressed, and then you don't have everything structured in your mind. And people tend to, just be overwhelmed and just trying to maybe take a picture with that person or maybe just speak and get things done. So it's important to have the structure and be prepared for the content and prepared as a person. So know that body language is important, be relaxed, and you're not representing only yourself, but you're representing also your organization. So make sure to present yourself in a good way. And yeah, preparation is a key point. Second challenge or tricky part with partner or let's say elevator pitch I would say usually a lot of people have it tricky keeping on the conversation, and sometimes it can be intimidating, like partner asking questions and then you not keeping on the conversation or not knowing how to communicate or to answer the question, or for example present things correctly. So maybe it's good to kind of practice elevator pitch with maybe your colleagues, for example, because if you're working on a cause, you're working on it on a long term, you're having this project, so you train on your elevator pitch with friends. So whatever question or things can be happening in that pitch, you're already prepared for it. So I guess preparation is a key here, and also practice with your friends or colleagues is important and can help you in the elevator pitch.
Saad, adding to what Jesse was saying, can you share with us any experience you had in elevating a cause to a partner and you got this partnership? Something you as a young people and leader of an organization did that other young people could, build into it?
Sure thing. I mean, I don't talk about this a lot, but basically, I guess 2 years ago, we had this new Minister of Health in Morocco, right? Or I guess 2 years. So this new minister and we as the National Medical Students Association in Morocco, it's always good to have a good collaboration and contact with the Ministry of Health because they are the ones related to our work. So basically, I was attending a workshop in the party, let's say the building of the party of that minister. And basically, all of a sudden, that minister shows up and he has a meeting in the third floor. So he kind of takes a picture with the participants of the workshop, and me, I'm stepping on the sidelines. I don't want to take a picture. I take a post-it. I didn't have a visit card on me that time. So I take a post-it, I'm writing my name and my email and my phone number in it, and I follow him sideways to the elevator. He gets into the elevator, and before getting in the elevator, I introduce myself and I enter with him to the elevator, and I'm like, I'm Saad from the National Medical Students Association. We're part of the International Federation who is collaborating with WHO, and we represent medical students in all the faculties. We are doing this actions about health, and we would love to schedule a meeting with you so that we can officialize, a partnership with your ministry. Here is my number. I gave him a post-it, and basically, I was like, we would love to hear from you or get in touch with you and the ministry. So he gave me the number of his secretary. And when it was literally an elevator pitch in an elevator, I got the number of his secretary. I noted, and he was like, tomorrow call her and let's plan things up. I call her, and she told me, I still remember, she was like, oh, you are the guy who met with the minister yesterday. I have your number. And I was like, the minister kept a post-it and gave it to the secretary. And yeah, it was really a moment for me. 2 months later, we didn't have any answer. She was like, we will try to schedule you a meeting with the minister. 2 months later, nothing. 3 months later, nothing. I keep, messaging her happy holidays and those polite messages, nothing. 5 months later, she messaged me on Thursday. She is calling me and she's like, tomorrow the minister has 30 minutes free. If you can make it at that time, he can meet with you. And then I call the president and we make things happen, and we have our meeting with the minister. And yeah, a good collaboration is going on till that time. So yeah, that's maybe a good experience that I had. So always be prepared, have your materials. It's good to have a visit card if you have, not given a post-it, but yeah, that's something maybe I can share with you.
Congratulations, Saad. You did good.
Yeah, it was really a great experience, and I would really advise people to, get out of your comfort zone. Don't be shy to start the conversation with partners, because we do, as young people, have something to add, right? We have a voice to bring to the table. We can do impact. So always, have your cause in mind and go and interact with partners and take the lead. So that would be my golden advice. So yeah, I guess that's it from my side. And yeah, if you have any other question, feel free to ask. Otherwise, Sarah, I guess, is sharing in the chat, the handouts and the slides. And yeah, they will be really useful, especially the handouts where you can find more detailed information. And basically that helps you in working on creating partnerships. Maybe another question from Dana, I see. Have you ever had any bad experiences with elevator pitches. Bad experiences, maybe a lot. I would say I don't remember exact experiences, but for sure a lot, because me as a person, I attended so many events, right? So many events in the faculty, wherever there is something going on, I go there and I try to learn. And, you know, at my learning stage, I was this enthusiastic person who would go to the speaker and introduce myself and be like, okay, we are this medical students organization and we are working on this and this, and we want to partner with you. And sometimes they ask me, what do you want to collaborate on? How can I help you? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't have a clear answer to that. So those were some awkward moments that I had, you know, lack of preparation. And then again, I just try to maybe take their number or get a picture with them or things like that. So being prepared was the lesson I learned from my practices or my failed elevator pitch. I would say don't be afraid of, you know, getting or not succeeding your elevator pitch, because worst case is you are creating a conversation, right? And there is nothing bad about that. So always try to start it, and yeah, don't be afraid of that. So yeah, you have the slides in the chats and also the handouts, and you can also find them in the conversation website. And I guess that's it from my side. Thank you everyone for, you know, interacting and for being here. It was a lovely session.